Hey everyone, welcome back to GTech Motorworks. If you watched any of our common problem videos, you'll know that we talk a lot about oil leaks on BMWs. We just happen to have an M vehicle in today with a rocker cover leak, so we're going to run through the process of diagnosing it and how to repair it. Okay, so there are a number of symptoms you may notice if you're experiencing an oil leak. You could have a patch on the floor when you move the vehicle. You could have the smell of burning oil, or just, a general smell coming into the vehicle through the vents when you've got the windows open. You may even experience smoke. So if you've got something, you've got some of that oil dripping down onto a hot manifold, you'll experience smoke. And then of course you've got pure and simple, you're checking your oil level, it's dropped, or the vehicle's telling you that the oil level is low. So generally speaking, an oil leak, it can be coming from a number of different places, so sometimes diagnosing it can be a little bit tricky. First and foremost, best thing to do, give it a wash down, in particular the area where the oil leak seems to be concentrated. And then what you'll do is you'll start underneath the vehicle and work your way up, so you'll find the highest point that oil is present. And generally speaking, that is where your oil leak's coming from. So one thing to be cautious of with most BMWs is the engine is a bit of an angle. And because of that, sometimes that oil leak might not necessarily be in the place you're expecting it to be. So you'll always find it at the lower point, and the reason why we say trace it up to the highest point is because obviously the highest point, it can't leak higher than gravity. It has to go down. So if you think you found the spot, just to be 100% sure, just keep working away around that engine just to make sure you've got no oil any further up than that particular point. So modern cars, particularly high performance cars, they cram a lot under the engine bay. This is every mechanic and every technician's nightmare, because you look under there and you've just got a beautification cover, you've got a couple of pipes, and everything that could possibly be leaking oil is all situated underneath. Like I say, we start from the underneath, we work our way up. It's just as bad underneath. You've got all sorts of stuff crammed under that, underneath that engine. And as I say, although it looks nice and flat there, this is just a cover. Underneath there, where the main components of the engine are, everything is slanting that way. So most of the oil leaks we get from the rocker cover area are always going to be on this side. They're usually going to be leaking onto the exhaust, and generally speaking, can be a little bit tricky to find. But if you work your way up, you check all the contact points for all the different components, you spot a tiny trace of oil, you'll be able to follow that round and you'll be able to find the highest point, which generally speaking on these engines is at the back and to the driver's side of the vehicle. Okay, so with this particular vehicle, we have found the oil leak, we've traced it up to the highest point, and it's coming from the rocker cover area. Now, with most modern cars, for ease of cost, ease of manufacturing, rocker covers, generally speaking, will be made of plastic. Now, this is great, it keeps the weight down. As I say, manufacturing costs are kept down. Unfortunately, with plastic, it does get brittle after time. If someone has tried to remove a part made of plastic and not fully detached it, you can end up twisting it, cracking it. So what we tend to do with these rocker covers, we'll take them off. We have a good look at the gasket, which generally speaking will have gone hard, or will have split, or will have deformed in such a way that allows the oil to pour through. If the gasket appears to be intact, we then have a good look around the inside of the rocker cover. If there is a crack and the oil seeps its way through, it normally leaves telltale signs. A tiny little mark, slightly discoloured from the rest of the rocker cover, and that's usually a sign that the rocker cover itself is cracked. If the rocker cover's fine, you replace your gasket, you put it all back together, job done. So one thing that is very important when it comes to oil leaks, as you're carrying out the repair, try and clean up as much as you can. Once you're happy that you've found the problem and you've repaired the problem, you clean all the mating surfaces. This just makes sure you don't get any further faults after you've carried out the repair. But also it aids you, because in a couple of weeks' time, you check the vehicle over, you've got no signs of leak, fantastic. If you haven't done a proper job of cleaning it up, you could still have residue dripping down onto your exhaust, other parts of the engine. This can give you the false idea that you've still got a leak. And if you have still got a leak, this will actually make it quite difficult to re-diagnose it. So if you've left that oil residue, you could just be running around in circles and replacing something that you've already done when it's completely unnecessary. Thanks everyone for joining us for this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.